everyone, Mango7Roll here. How we doing today? Welcome to another episode of EXOS Heroes, and this one we're gonna go after the Reversed World, one of the new events. And by the way, this is like the best designed, at least for me personally, event I've seen in a gacha in a long time, and it's their first event. So this this leads me to a lot of excitement, and I hope they do stuff like this in the future. So this is very hard though, probably too hard to be out this early, but if you're looking for help, hopefully I can do that. There are 3 difficulties: hard, extreme, and special. For me, I tried out hard one day and got bodied and then gave up, and then the next day I realized that extreme and special weren't that much harder. So the general idea is these have 3 life bars. The first life bar is dark, the second life bar is machine, and the third life bar is fire. So in general, what you want to do is bring a team to break the first, then lose after the first life bar, bring a team to break the second, then lose, bring a team to break the third, and then, you know, it's all done. And you can do this 3 times a day on extreme, 1 time a day on special, and then with your extras you can do them on a hard if you want. The rewards are bonkersly insane for this. The final reward is a holy rewarder of the universe, which is the most rare thing in this entire game. And you don't need great units for this. I personally don't have the best setup yet. I have FC Anastasia, and maybe she's carrying me. But in general, I have used the same team for all of this, and this is a couple days into this for me, so you'll see me do a lot better than I did at the start. And there's also people who can do this in 1 run instead of 3+ like I am. So anyways, the team I use for everything so far is I use FC Anastasia. You can use any healer, I think, especially if you have a healer that's on element. It might even be better than Ana. I also use Bernadette as my DPS. I don't have any real major single target DPS, and don't be scared of her gear. I did this with Blue at the start when I was doing this. You get really strong in this game really fast once you start beating the story. But she is my single target damage dealer, so I use her for Frost Fang, and that's it. I guess you can't get scared of the gear because you can't see it because my head's in the way anyway. Then for the dark stage, I use Ramgi, who's not very good, but all he does is break. He's got not the best gear. All he does is break. I use this one here, Tirea, and she's just there to break as well. All she does is break. She doesn't do any damage. She doesn't do anything. And then I used a rat, a 3-star rat for my third one, and this is gonna be Bucko. I hate this guy, but he's decent for this. And one of the things you want to look for, I've got to find a better place for my head. One of the things you've got to look for when you're doing this is stuff that can break multiple times in 1 turn. So what this guy does as a 3-star unit is he deals damage and inflicts stun on the attacker when hit. So he's got a counter attack, which means he will break twice if he's hit. Little bastards never hit him though, so he just like never counterattacks, and I get so frustrated with this guy, but it is what it is. So that's my dark team there. It's my weakest of the 3 teams. Then as for my machine team, I am using I started off with June, but I'm now using Illum. Illum just adds some mitigation to the team here and then breaks the target. As for the secondary one, this is the important one for my machine stage. This is Yorm, and the reason why Yorm is important because she afflicts bleed to the target every turn for 2 turns, and then her third one is bleed every 3 turns. So every time your bleed ticks, it then procs a break on the target, and we'll see that as we go there. And my third machine, I don't even remember who my third machine is. 1, 2, maybe it just is her. Honestly, my machine is not the strongest section. I might just use Yao for that. Again, just another break target. Then for my fire team, it's the same sort of idea here. I use Corgi, and Corgi is a person with a dot here on his skill 2. So it's another burn, extra ways to break. And you could use a ton of different units for these. I just looked at my box and scrolled through all their passives to find people with counterattacks and stuff. And my other 2 fire people, one of them is this dude, Gooter, and he's here because he's got a counterattack. And the other guy here is, I don't even know his name, Pitbull. Again, he's here because he has a counterattack. So that's the main teams. There are infinitely better people for this, so don't worry. If you have Illum and Bathory, they combine together to do 3 breaks each thing, and you're insanely OP. So if you're lucky enough to have that, going for you. I am so jealous. So let's just take this out here. And the first couple days I was doing this, some of these people just had no gear. I found if they got hit, they died anyway. So I just didn't even bother. They were just here to break. And then Bernadette was here for all of the damage. Completely all of the damage here. And there's also no back or front line for this. I don't know if they get the nerf without it though. So I just set it up right. So let's show you my dark team first. I'm going to do the hard one instead of the extreme, just because I think it's more realistic for more people to do. And once you can do the hard and get the idea of how to get this done, you can kind of get them all done. And again, I had more of a problem with the easiest difficulty than the medium difficulty. So keep that in mind. Also, if you have a strong enough team, you can just auto all of this too once you have the right breaks. For example, if I had a DPS that was dark here, I'd be able to break her much easier. Let's turn this down just a little bit. So all we're doing is auto attacking and breaking. You can see the 5 things at the top. Very important part of this game here. And we will break next turn here. Dodges are great. Once she uses her ult, the little sheep fighting sheep person, once they use her ult, it's going to just destroy me. And again, all my damage is going to come just during break phase. They get stacking attack and defense and barrier buffs while they're not on breaking every time you go. So you have to break to reset that. And all of my damage is going to be from Bernadetta's skill 2 here. That's literally all of my damage, except for every now and then I super laser beam with my Anastasia. So we're going to do this again, and this doesn't really do anything. We just auto attack. It's better to save the mana up, I think. And I'm just going to auto attack with her because I want it up for break. So as you can see, I did very, very little damage. From people I were talking to, they were clearing it in 1 to 2 breaks, and it takes me like 3 to 4. So don't be discouraged if this is not an easy thing. Every day you log into this game, it gets so much easier. I'm gonna do this because I have the extra time here, and we'll save this because Anastasia's skill 3 hits like a flippin' truck. So you can see there, if any of those hit the rat, we break 1 turn faster, by the way. 780 damage. Like, look at the damage they do. 1120 damage. They're not doing anything. And then we go in with our Bernadette, and she does a lot of damage. And I can also use the skill 3 here. She does a ridiculous amount, too. And it's just rinse and repeat. And what we're going to do, we're about to die here. Somebody is going to die. I just cross my fingers it's not Bernadette because she's my only DPS. If anybody but Bernadette dies, it's super fine. Okay, not dead yet, not dead yet. Not dead yet. We did just get a counterattack, I think. Maybe I'll live. Maybe I won't die for the first time in the history of the world. So we've got a break again. This is going really well. This is a good run so far. I think it's because I dodged that first turn. But usually the sheep does their special move and one-shot somebody for me, and I can't keep them alive without somebody like Chatty on my team. And if I don't bring somebody with defensive capabilities, or if I do bring somebody with defensive capabilities, then I just die to not doing enough damage anyway. Wow, so no special move from them this time. We got a thrust counterattack. This is like the best run I've ever done. It's so bad. We're going to keep that up. We want all the damage during the break phase because we do more damage, of course. I really wanted to kill somebody. I'm supposed to show you a scuffed run. There we go. Somebody's dead. See, as we can see, one-shot my Anastasia, one of my tankiest units. There's nothing I can do about that. So at this point, if that hits Bernadette early, I'm screwed with only 1 DPS. But with her dead, it doesn't really matter. I'll get this done, and then this will break through to the next phase. Once we've hit the next phase of HP, I just hit auto because I'm not going to be able to do much from this point on, and then I go on to my next team. Again, if your gear is insane enough and you have good enough units, you can do this with 1 team. But in general, it's not something you can do, so it usually takes 3 entries per. Okay, so here is my first run. We ended up this far in, but it doesn't really matter how far in you get. Let's switch to the second team, which is Machine. So we're just going to switch off those 3 dark units from my 3 machine units. We're going to be using Yorm here. We're going to be using Loom and Yao there. And again, it literally just doesn't matter who you use as long as they have breaks. It's specifically awesome, again, if they have the burns, and we'll see with the burns here from Yorm, unless she just gets bodied, which is a possibility. It could happen. So we can just auto the first turn here. Oh, I did an oopsie. So I brought in the wrong person. Okay, so we actually don't have Anastasia. I'm supposed to have Anastasia here instead of Ramgi. Ramgi is basically useless here, which is really unfortunate. So I hope she decides to kill the Ramsey here. So one more until we break here, and it's not the first break that's faster with dot teams. It's the second break when you have the mana up. I'm not going to use it here because we don't want to do the extra ticks during this phase. We want it in the second phase when they can be broken. So we have to hope Bernadette has some crits today, because Ramgi is going to be useless. So we're going to do this now because I think the break ends and then they take a turn. And we can see here when I attack with... oh, they're still broken. Never mind. Just kidding. Still broken. Wow, this is a long break. Things are going great. This is the best run ever. I don't know what's going on, but this is awesome. So we can see we only broke 1 time there. And now we're going to do a burn onto them as well. Somebody's dead here. It's Yao. Yao is dead. That's fine. We can see they have 2 things broken, I think, or 3 things broken, and we can hit them once. And it breaks, and then it breaks again. So now, just get a little bit of an attack in there. What a horrible run. Nice showcase, Manga. Way to bring the wrong team. Look at this sick damage from Ramgi. But it's okay. We've got Bernadette just with the sick DPS. Actually, Illum does some good damage now too during this phase. Gonna get some attacks in here. Go Yorm! I'm really happy with this run. This is awesome. And this just goes to show for me, maybe not for you folks because you didn't see my runs before, but this goes to show how much power you get over a short period of time. And RIP to Yorm. Yorm just got bodied. But I think I got the burn off, so I'm going to get another burn here, which is nice. Maybe I didn't. It looked like I did, but I don't think I did. But either way, we're fine. We're fine here. She might get another ult off before we turn, but as long as it's not Bernadette, we're fine. This actually kind of shows to me, and if you can see how much little damage we do after a couple turns here with all these stacking buffs, you basically get to the point where they're invincible. But without using Anastasia here, I'm still doing okay, so I might just add a 4th breaker in to make this a little more consistent here. And this breaks, right? Yeah. Yeah, it does. It looks a little bit different on this than my phone, which is why I'm a little confused doing this, by the way. There we go. Everything is good. We made it through. We made it through with the wrong team. So we're just going to hit auto, and I'll see you with the fire team. Okay, let's go in onto the 3rd team now. We're going to switch out my 3 units and my Ramgi for just a bunch of fire units. Corgi is the all-star for this team, and then those are 2 counter units. And then we'll put in Anastasia back instead of Ramgi. And this is going to be great. Corgi actually does ridiculous damage on his skill 3 as well if you get it up. I don't usually need it, but he does great damage for the break as well. We'll just auto a little bit too. And these 2 big buff red dudes are both on a thrust passive. So they'll both counterattack like that. And both get a little extra break in whenever they get hit. So we can see attacks him. He counterattacks, does a break there. Already broken here. Insane. Insane, insane, insane. Just gonna auto attack. Oh, this is so much better. This is so satisfying for me because yesterday I struggled so hard with this. This is so satisfying. It's like the greatest feeling ever when you get this much of an improvement. I'm not gonna do that, just in case I don't have enough for the break. Somebody's dead, hopefully not Corgi. Oh, Bernadetta lives! They never live, that's awesome. Okay, so we've got 2 breaks right now. We break 1 for the 3rd time. We attack and then break again for the burn after. And again, that's why Corgi is so flippin' powerful. Anybody who has those dots, there's a ton of units that do. You just got to kind of read your skills and figure out which one has dots like that. Wow, this was amazing. I might actually get to the point where I can 2-run this instead of 3-run this, which saves you quite a bit of the 11 stones. You think you will survive this? That's all I hear all day long, by the way. So we've got this up, and this is up every single turn with him. So you always have that extra in. And if I didn't have that procced, I would not be broken right now, which is fantastic because that gives me a break for this turn here. And she would get another turn without being broken, and then I might die. So that's why getting her broken that extra time is just so insanely helpful. Oh, this is so exciting. This is my best run ever. Nice. I didn't think I'd survive this, Bernadette. So yeah, 1 sheep, 2 sheep. So good, so good. So yeah, I love this event. This is my favorite event I've done in a long time. It kind of requires you to use at least like 9+ different units. And they don't need to be, in quotes, good units. They don't need to be specific units. You can get by without the best units, and this is just a really well-designed event, and I'm so happy with this. The story is fantastic, by the way, as well. So I really recommend you try this out. If you are having trouble with it, just wait a day maybe, push a little bit in your story, get your daily quests done. You get a ton of rewards from that, and try again the next day. And again, with my gear and everything, I was doing this before I actively had gear on a lot of my units. Like, for example, my red dudes here, they had basically nothing on. It's just recently that I've given them a couple pieces, as you can see here. All they need to do is break and live an auto attack, because even with the best gear, they're not surviving the alt either. The other thing, too, is with the hard difficulty and the special difficulty, they have different ultimates. So for example, I believe the hard was an AoE and it was just killing everybody for me. And I think the special difficulty did less damage to me than it felt like the hard one did. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe as always, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, everybody!